News tonight. Emefiele now in our custody for investigation, DSS confirms. We will no longer obey frivolous court injunctions, NLC. Orji Kalu whips previously as he narrates prison order. We launched Virgin Nigeria, but one of my successors drove basins. Plateau Governor Moftwang swears in 17 LG transition chairpersons. Emefiele turned CBN into ATM of the Cabal, Shehu Sani. Lastly, Igalo makes Saudi team of the season. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Now the news in detail. The suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, is in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, custody, the secret police has confirmed. This is according to a statement by the Public Relations Officer, PRO, Peter Afunaya, on Saturday. The Department of State Services hereby confirms that Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is now in its custody for some investigations and investigative reasons, it said. The revelation comes hours after the DSA refuted report that Emefiele was not in its custody. Amid report of the arrest widely shared online, Afunaya said in a text statement on Saturday morning, currently Emefiele is not with the DSS, says.
The governor is now in DSS custody. In a press statement by Public Relations Officer, Department of State Services, the Department of State Services hereby confirms that Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank, is now in custody for some investigative reasons. The utmost caution in the reportage and narratives concerning this. Details are sketchy, but what we can confirm is that the CBN governor is now in DSS custody, and we're confirming that through an exclusive footage obtained by TVC News. All right, that's the footage there, the exclusive footage obtained by TVC, where you can see that the DSS now has the former governor of the suspended governor of the CBN in custody. There was a press statement released by the Public Relations Officer of the Department of State Service, where he's enjoining the media to apply utmost caution in the reportage and narratives concerning this. He's also confirming that the DSS now has Godwin Emefiele in custody. You'll remember that he was suspended yesterday by the president, and that's because of investigation around some of allegations, about him and policies he took while in office.
The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has said it would no longer respect what it described as frivolous injunctions issued by judges allegedly carrying out the biddings of the executive, raising concerns over the frequency of such injunctions, which has restrained Congress from freely protesting unfavorable policies of government and exercising their right. President of the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero, in a statement on Friday in Abuja, called on both the Supreme Court and the National Judicial Council, NJC, to sanction erring judges. He said, "We at the Nigeria Labour Congress are concerned by the frequent issuance of ex parte injunctions, restraining us from unlawfully protesting against negative policies of government or employers in exercise of our right, as contained in the provisions of ILO conventions, Trade Union Act, Trade Dispute Act, the 1999 Constitution, the African Charter on Human Rights, and other legal instruments." And to the next story. The chief whip of the Nigerian Senate on Saturday wept frivolously while recalling his ordeal during the valedictory session to mark the end of the 9th Senate. Kalu, who represents Abia North Senatorial District, explained that he has made money as a businessman before he joined politics, saying that he financed the formation of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, between 1998 and 1999, and lamented how he was tagged a thief by the same government he assisted. As the emotion landed, Kalu battled to control his tears. He expressed disappointment over the humiliation he went through in the hands of agents of government, saying that some elements who cannot explain the source of their wealth walk around freely, but those of them who work hard in business are being harassed. He explained that his sojourn in the Senate had given him a better picture of citizens, stressing that Nigerians are wonderful people. He thanked the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, for always coming to see him in prison on a weekly basis throughout the time he spent in prison, and those who showed concern over his imprisonment. He said, "Before I joined politics, I had made my money. Between 1997 and 1998, I financed the People's Democratic Party, and those who do come to my house for transport fares are those labeling me a thief," he added. Information recalls that Senator Orji Uzo Kalu was sentenced by a Lagos division of the Federal High Court for 12 years over 7.65 billion naira fraud when he was governor of Abia State. And to the next story. A former Minister of Aviation, Isa Yaguda, has shed light on the event that led to the early demise of Virgin Nigeria. Founded in 2004 as a replacement for the then-defunct Nigeria Airways, Virgin Nigeria operated as a joint venture between Nigerian investors and British billionaire Richard Branson's Virgin Group. However, a feud with the federal government led to the Virgin Group pulling out in 2009. This prompted the airline to be renamed Nigerian Eagle Airlines and later Air Nigeria. The business ultimately ceased operations in 2012. Yaguda, who was the aviation minister under former President Olusegun Obasanjo when Virgin Nigeria was established, made a live appearance on Friday through Channel Television Sunrise program to address the controversy over the unveiling of Nigeria Air. The aircraft branded with Nigeria Air logo being unveiled at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on May 26, 2023 shows the Minister of Aviation Ali Sidika held a Nigerian Air unveiling event in Abuja on May 26, days to the end of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. The project has since come under intense scrutiny, with the revelation that a single aircraft showcased at the ceremony was in fact a chartered flight, a development described by one probing lawmaker as fraud. Arguing that airline businesses are based on economies of scale, Yaguda underscored the need for them to partner with the major players internationally. We go to the next story. Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State officially inaugurated interim transition committee chairpersons for all 17 local government areas in a ceremony held at Government House in Jos. Information report that the governor, represented by his deputy Josephine Pio, emphasized the needs and significance of this step to ensure the smooth functioning of his administration. Recall that this newspaper earlier reported that the governor's decision to suspend all democratic structures in the state's local government areas on June 1st was prompted by the Plateau House of Assembly's recommendation. The suspension came about due to the local government's failure to produce financial transaction documents despite multiple unsuccessful attempts to obtain them. Governor Mutfwang clarified the state government had thoroughly examined the recommendations and resolved to suspend the chairpersons in order to conduct a thorough and effective investigation into their matter. He ordered the transition chairpersons to collaborate with the Plateau House of Assembly and promptly provide all required documents for appropriate action. In response, Amisu Anani, chairman of Wase local government, assured the governor that they would adhere to the rules and regulations governing local government operations and work diligently for the advancement of the states. From Plateau State, we go to the next story from former lawmaker Shehu Sani. A former lawmaker who represented Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the 8th National Assembly, Shehu Sani, has reacted to the suspension of the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele. Sani, however, said as much as he welcomes the suspension of the embattled Emefiele by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a thorough investigation of the activities of the Apex Bank must be carried out as the suspended governor had turned into an automatic teller machine, ATM, for the Cabal. He added that such an investigation must be carried out by professional auditors outside the CBN. In a tweet on Saturday, Sani said The move by Tinubu was a welcome development and a good riddance to bad rubbish. The eviction of Emefiele is commendable. The appointment of Shonubi as the acting governor is commendable. But the house cleaning of the CBN can only be done by engaging a team of auditors from outside the CBN, the lawmaker turned social critic Roth. Only they can professionally and thoroughly probe the Apex Bank and tell the country how the bank was run under Buhari's Emefiele. From that story, we go to Ebonyi. The appointment was contained in a statement signed by the governor's chief press secretary, Dr. Monde Uzo, and made available to newsmen on Friday night. Professor Grace Omozirike has become the first female secretary of the state government SSG in Ebonyi State. The appointment was contained in a statement signed by the governor's chief press secretary, Dr. Monde Uzo, and made available. According to Uzo, the appointment is with immediate effects. From Ebonyi, we go to the next story. The police command in Yobe on Saturday said it arrested a local chief and his two sons over the murder of one Goni Waje in Dako Kangarwa village Yunusari local government area. The command spokesperson, DSP Dungus Abdulkarim, in a statement in Damaturu, named the suspect simply as Jalomi, Chiroma, and Bulama. He said the murder occurred on June 7 after the trio accused Mr. Waje of having an affair with the wife of Mr. Bulama, the local chief and the father of Jalomi and Chiroma. According to the eyewitness account, the disease was macheted with a cutlass and burned to death by two of Alhaji Jalomi and Chiroma. As narrated, the incident began as a fight that led to the disease using a knife to inflict injury on the father of the suspect, Mr. Abdul Karim said. He added that Mr. Bulama subsequently instructed his children to go after Mr. Waje, which they did by burning him to death. Mr. Abdul Karim said the three suspects turned themselves in to the Unisari Divisional Police Station after the incident. While Bulama was finding a way to treat himself from the wound, he had no option but to involve the police in the process of investigation. The victim surfaced as accused, which led to his arrest at the Unisari Police Division. Subsequently, the perpetrators of the heinous offense reported themselves to the Unisari Division after the arrest of their father, he said. Mr. Abdul Karim said the three suspects were transferred to the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation. The spokesman said the body of Mr. Waje was deposited at the specialist hospital, Damaturu. From that story, we go to foreign story on the world news for BGI TV Current. Britain's former Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Friday said he was quitting as a member of parliament, claiming he had been forced out in a stitch-up by political opponents. The 58-year-old populist politician has been under investigation by a cross-party committee about whether he repeatedly lied to the parliament over COVID lockdown breaking parties when he was in office. In evidence earlier this year, he angrily insisted he had not. But as the committee prepares to make public its findings, he said they had contacted him, making it clear they are determined to use the proceedings against me to drive me out of parliament. The Privileges Committee, which has a majority of MPs from his own Conservative Party, has powers to impose sanctions for misleading parliament, including suspension. Ordinarily, suspension of more than 10 working days leads to a by-election in the MP's constituency. And to end the world news is a sports story. Despite his impressive goal record for Al Nassr striker, Cristiano Ronaldo has been omitted from the Saudi Pro League team of the season, as Nigeria striker Jude Igalo leads the frontline squad. The five-time Ballon d'Or winner also finished as the Saudi Pro League's fifth top scorer for the season with his 14 goals. However, upon the decision to name the league's team of the season, sports statistics gurus Opta chose not to include Ronaldo. Instead, former Manchester United and now Al Hilal striker Odion Jude Igalo leads the attack thanks to his 19 goals in 27 games. With the sports story, we end the world news this hour. Before we go, some major headlines. Emefiele now in our custody for investigations, DSS confirms. We will no longer obey frivolous court injunctions, NLC says. Orji Kalu, which previously as he narrates prison sentencing. We launched Virgin Nigeria, but one of my successors drove Barton. And next story, Plateau Governor Muftwang swears in 17 local government transition committee. On sports, Igalo makes Saudi team of the season. Thank you for watching our world news today from BGI TV. Our broadcast on YouTube, the handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcasts. For advertisement of goods and services and outdoor functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. And on Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. Thank you for watching. My name is Morire Rabila Lawa. Good evening.